Hey, Snow.
Hey, MJ.
All right, so new year, new us. Like we said, we're going to go on like a self-help journey.
New
for the next 4 years.
resolutions!
You know, and our...
I'm doing my Oprah moment.
Yeah, like the
You get a car! You get a car! We don't have
opposite
cars.
of the hands.
We don't have cars to give out. Sorry.
Yeah. So, the new kinder, gentler us.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Aaron Rodgers has been an adversary of this podcast for many years.
Oh, good Lord. Let me count the ways.
Yeah. So, we got turned on to the Aaron Rodgers documentary on Netflix. And I wanted to go into it and hate watch it.
Me too.
And I came out with a whole new understanding and respect for Aaron Rodgers.
Turned over a new leaf, to say.
Yeah. Look, we even said Aaron. We used to say Karen.
We are not going to call you Karen Rodgers anymore. Yeah. I have tried to a couple times when I have done a text about Aaron Rodgers. I start typing and I'm like, at first I put that K in front of it. Capital K, capital A, little a. And then I'm like, no, you call him Aaron Rodgers.
Right. I even found myself, now I'm not a Jets fan at all because they're in the same division. So I'm always going to root against them.
I'm not a Jets fan out of principle, okay? So yeah, go
I found myself last weekend rooting for Aaron Rodgers in the game.
Well, they're still not as bad as the Cowboys.
True.
So,
but they were playing the Dolphins.
Oh.
Normally I would root for the Dolphins.
Yeah, I like the Dolphins coach.
Yeah.
He's so cute.
Yeah. No, but so, don't get me wrong. I still have major issues about Aaron Rodgers and his character at some points. But yeah, I have a new understanding about him.
Yeah, we're not like, oh my God, we're in the Aaron Rodgers cult now. Okay, there's problems issues I still take with him. Yeah. As well as I still do with Tom Brady, who is your hero.
Shut up.
The GOAT. But,
yeah, the GOAT.
But
we don't disrespect Mr. Brady on this podcast.
There's like... The thing that I loved the most about this Aaron Rodgers documentary was, and how I have like a lot of respect for him, and I'm like, I actually found myself being like, I want to be more like that. Like I want to be like Mike. I want to be like Aaron. You know, like remember sometimes I dream that he is me. Anyways.
But we're talking more about his spiritual journey.
Okay, and that's what I was getting to. The fact that he doesn't care about what other people think, but it's not coming from a place of like
arrogance,
anger, or distaste or anything. It's coming from a place from complete peace and love, honestly. Like he's sitting there saying, you know, he doesn't fault other people. Like everyone's on their own journey, you know. Yeah. And he attributes all this to his ceremonies that he does, the ayahuasca ceremonies, which we'll get into a little bit. But it's like, that's a really good way to be. Like, I would like to be more at peace and just be like, you know, whatever somebody else is doing or dealing with, they're going through something. You know, they're going through something. And it's not for me or anyone else to say what they should be doing. Like, and I feel like that maybe the left got a little bit more of this past election cycle, because did you notice how, like, I don't know about everyone on our side, but for the most part, people on our side were kind of like, don't tell people how they should feel in this moment right now. Just let them feel it.
Yeah.
And deal with it on their own. And I know that sounds like a bunch of pussy shit to the other side, but whatever. But then fine, keep trying to tell people how they should live their life and see where that gets you. Like,
Right.
It's kind of like, yeah, let people deal with this in whatever means they need to, and just be there to like listen and be supportive.
Right.
And that's showing peace and love.
Right.
And gratitude. I mean, you're like grateful for.
Well, and also
other
the
people.
Zen part of it is not caring what other people think.
Right,
You
not
know,
giving a
you know,
fuck.
Because we do get into that, you know, we do it on social media and stuff like that. We're trying to earn likes and stuff like that. We're trying to be popular and stuff like that.
Yeah, you're seeking out validation, but
Yeah.
his is completely against all that. It's almost like, look, this is what I'm going to do for myself because this is what I need to do for myself to make myself feel better. Going back to Oprah, because we started the show off with that. One of my favorite quotes from Oprah is, "No one is coming to save you. No one." So it's all up to you. Like, you gotta... He's actually doing what the rest of us should fucking be doing. I mean, and I'm like, what? I always thought he was a jackass. You know?
Well, and to get back to him, at the start of last season, 4 snaps into the game, he tore his Achilles tendon. And in 7 months, before the end of the year, he was ready to play again, except the Jets were eliminated, so there was no reason to actually go out there and play and maybe possibly get hurt again. But I think while I'm watching this is part of that the state that he got his head in mentally helped heal him physically quicker than normal on it, because he was in a good place in his head. Now, the only danger with that, if you're an NFL quarterback, is do you lose that edge and that fire?
Well,
Because
yeah.
you have that cockiness that you have to have.
His
that
thing
position.
with like what, getting back just briefly to the mentally over the physical, mind over matter, and there is power in that, right? And yeah, so moving forward to the thing about losing your edge, that's one of the things that I've always been interested. I've always wanted to do like the ayahuasca ceremonies ever since I watched. Huge Chelsea Handler fan over here. And remember, I don't know if you watched it. She did a special where she went over there and did the whole ayahuasca ceremony. Yeah. And I've watched other documentaries on it and how it saved people who, like, there's a lot of, PTSD vets that will go over there and claim that it has saved their lives, you know, doing these ceremonies. And they'll go over there every once in a while and do these to have enlightenment, maybe, in their... Whatever helps, you know, whatever helps when you're struggling, you should seek out and do, you know? Because no one is coming to save you. You have to do this for yourself.
Right. And at first, when you heard that he was doing this, you're kind of like, well, that's just kooky Aaron doing kooky stuff.
But every time people hear something new, don't they all... Look at how people are treating transgender folks right now. Because it's new. And they don't understand it.
It's not necessarily new. As in ayahuasca ceremonies, it's nothing new.
No.
It's just coming to the forefront.
That's what I mean by new. Yeah, it's nothing new. I mean, I've already told you before. I believe that I had someone in our family who I never got to meet because died decades before I was born. I feel like they were transgender, but you know, when I look at old photographs, but yeah, it's not a new thing, but I mean, it's a new thing in culture. Maybe that's what I should have said.
Right.
Like, you know, a new like culture
in Western culture, perhaps.
Yeah, that's more
because
developed
it's been
and
indigenous
accepted.
practice forever.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, and so
Definitely.
I had thought like ayahuasca was something that you smoked, but no, it's more the ceremony and it's a drink.
It's like a tea.
Curated wine.
Yeah.
Yeah. They brew it and you
It's from
You
the
drink that.
Mimosa hostilis plant. The root of the plant is what they generally use.
And that
Folks, we're gonna turn attention to the brains of our
Yeah.
show right now. Like you're throwing, the species.
we just
It's an alkaloid, indole alkaloid.
I love
present
when
in
you're.
humans.
We've
I
done
love
excellent.
when you're on our show. I always love it. I love. Shout
Makes
out
us
to
sound-
Ra Ray,
makes it sound like someone
Like-
knows what they're talking about here.
or that we know
Well,
smart
in a past
people.
life, I was a scientist. So.
We know motherfucking smart
And
people.
I may not know anything about football, but psychedelic medicine has a special place in my heart.
Okay.
This is why I want to be her friend.
And my brother has actually performed ayahuasca ceremonies as well as peyote ceremonies.
Oh, we need to do that in the
Oh
podcast.
wow, cool.
And the Temescal, the sweat lodges that Aaron Rodgers also did. My
Yeah.
brother does those as well.
Can I?
We're gonna send you
We
out
need
there.
we need to do this when
Yeah.
I retire, y'all. Well, I've been trying to. I'm already.
What, let's do it now.
No, because okay, remember when we were talking about Aaron losing his edge? And I do believe this too. Criticism, like this is part of the criticism of it. I'm like, you got so enlightened and peaceful now in your life, but you're trying to play a game like football. Football is barbaric. We all love football as Americans. We're conditioned to it's America's sport. But like it's barbaric and it's not really peaceful and it's like it's men crushing into one another.
Yeah.
It's brutal, okay? And with regards to like my job, I can't lose my edge at my job because I got eyes on the prize. I got to get to my retirement. But once I do retirement, my plan was to do a ceremony because I need to get ready for the next chapter of my life, which is going to be about everything that I always wanted to do because now I'll have the means in which to do it and support myself, and I'll be able to travel the globe and see lots of cool things. And I need to have a nice, clear, peaceful head to go do that. You want to go visit other lands? You got to be a person of love going over there. You can't be a hateful motherfucker going over there. You know what I mean? You can't be full of rage and anger. You can't have the fire.
Right. So in the ayahuasca, is there DMT in the ayahuasca? Or does that just trigger the DMT that's already in your head?
The N,N-dimethyltryptamine is naturally occurring in the plant. It naturally occurs in the human body. It naturally occurs in animals like the Sonoran toad and some other plants.
Yeah, I mean, we could always do that. So, in the snow, we could just go out and find the toads after the
The
rains
next
and lick them.
monsoon, we're going to head out there.
Lick the toad.
You are not allowed to
Anyways, I'm not-
collect those, by the way.
Butthead, I'm not feeling anything.
Lick the toad.
Maybe a little golden teacher mushroom, do a little microdosing.
I like the shrooms. I've always said weed and shrooms. Those are your best drugs out there. But I've never
Never done it.
I've never done a ayahuasca. I did this years ago. I've never done the ayahuasca or peyote ceremonies, which I'm interested in those too. I have done the sweat lodge, but did that sober at a retreat thing that I went to. That was actually performed by real Native Americans. Okay. Just so, yeah. I mean, I would insist that you...
So what was that experience like, doing that sweat lodge?
So it was at a retreat in New Mexico, and it was a older Native American woman and her nephew, and they came and they showed us exactly how they do their sweat lodge ceremonies. You have to make sure you stay hydrated, and they have this whole lodge thing built. You would go in there and they base it off of the different directions, north, south, east, west.
The cardinal points, yes.
Right. And then so each one of those represents, and I know I'm going to fuck this up, but each one of those represents a different point in your life, where one represents like your childhood.
Mm-hmm.
And then one represents like your teen years or growing up, then like your adult years, and I think maybe like your future. Is that right? Or where you are now?
It depends on the indigenous group that's doing that. And
Okay.
sometimes on the practitioner itself. Sometimes the North is a place of the ancestors. Sometimes the West is a place of death.
The ancestors. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. That is exactly right. So each time we did a different direction, like it was a group of 7 of us, all from different backgrounds. We had a transgender person in there. We had a couple of men in there. We had people from different races. There was an African American woman and her mother in there. Everyone was coming there for spiritual healing. So what you had to do when you were in there and we went to the certain direction, like whether it was childhood or your ancestors, you had to share a story from your own life with the group. And you were like in darkness, so you felt comfortable, but you wanted to talk about the things that you wanted to talk about. And it was really cool though, because like I had made a point, and the younger African American couple is like, I totally understand that. She goes, that's what I was feeling too. And it's good to feel a connection with people that you have never even met in your life ever. Like you're like, at least it's like a planetary thing, because we're all in the same house. We all in the same home.
There's a modern, very accessible book by Erica Buenaflor, who did extensive. She started out as a lawyer, and she went and did shamanistic work with various shamans in Mexico over the years, and she has a number of books that address this. And one of those is soul retrieval, and it goes through that whole process of all the quadruped planes and cardinal directions and things like that, and what each of these represent and ceremonies for them. So
I'll have to check that out. Yeah, I'll have to read that. I'm like the queen of self-help books.
It is. It's an excellent self-help book that kind of, when you read it, it's like, oh, it is very similar to what the modern self-help books show you, where you're setting intentions and you're doing things like that. It's
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It sounds like it'd be like
most of her books.
Yeah, it sounds like it'd be like a little deeper, because it's going like a soul connection.
But that sounds very similar to what you're talking about, doing these kind of ceremonies and healing.
Right. Yeah.
So what did you take from that? What did you experience when you did that, like on a personal level? I mean, all these people are here. You're all connecting with each other.
It kind of felt like relief to me. Like I'm a very introverted person. Like I always have been. And there's a real comfort about sitting in silence. But you knew that you signed up on board with the similar intentions of other people, and bearing yourself to people who, aren't going to judge you really, because they don't know you. And it's it's really freeing, honestly. Like you're kind of able to like bear stuff more to, I don't know. It's weird because sometimes I feel like I'm the complete like backwards or opposite of other people. Because, like if you say like slight things to people, sometimes they're like, oh, yeah, I could never do that. And then you're like, oh shit, I'm sorry I said that then. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I don't know. It's weird. I like in my travels, I actually am a person that likes traveling by myself. I like, because then I can decide where I'm going to go, and I like going out to a place, sitting next to complete strangers, and just start talking to them.
Yeah, but you're not necessarily introverted, because I've heard many stories of your travels and stuff like that, and you'll engage with people. Whereas I'm the type where
I'm a selective introvert, though. I'm an introvert by nature, but if I find someone that, I don't know if it's like a chemical feeling, but it's like, you know how like sometimes you feel like you could just start talking to whoever you're sitting next to.
That is true, because I found that...
And you're comfortable with it.
When I was in Malibu earlier, and when I went to Boulder, Colorado earlier last year, I felt whatever it was, I could tell I was with like-minded people, so it was easier to talk to them.
Right.
You know, it was just this connection. You can't really explain it.
Right.
You know. Whereas other places I'll go to, I will just sit back, and I do like observing people. I like visiting new cities. I like going to see things in new cities. But I kind of keep to myself.
Mm-hmm.
Unless, like in Boulder, where I felt comfortable with the people.
So it depends on the vibe, the energy.
The energy of the people that I'm around.
The energy of the people, the energy of like where you are. Like, so I have a funny story. Like when I went to Wisconsin, went to Milwaukee, and I went and I looked up on Yelp, because I always do that when I'm in a city. I want to eat at like the place that gets like really good reviews, because I know they're gonna have good food, which it was amazing. And then the place I went to, I was planning on staying there and hanging out, but it was so busy, probably because the food's so amazing, I had to sit outside. So I'm out on which was fine. I didn't mind it, being out on the sidewalk, like eating my meal and whatnot. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to look for like bars close to this area. So it's like, all right around the corner, there's a bar to go to. So, and I know nothing about Milwaukee. So I walk like literally one block up and like a couple stores over to the left. And I go into this bar, and the bar is all Black people. And I'm like, and I walk in and I was like, okay, you're staying in here. You're going to go sit down and you're going to have a drink. How many times is there a situation where like there's one Black person that has to go sit amongst the rest of the white people? I'm like, you're doing this. So I do. I go and I sit down next to the bar. I'm like, well, I asked permission. I was like, is this seat taken? And she's like, I go, is anyone sitting here? And she goes, you are now. And it was my lovely friend, Brittany, that I met in Milwaukee. She was so great. Yeah. She's like, sit down. Made me feel so cool. I'm like, oh, I'm visiting. She was like, where are you from? And I tell her, Arizona, blah, blah, blah. She goes like, all right, well, this is Tuesday night. What was it? It wasn't Music Club. Not the Sheryl Crow thing. Tuesday night club. Maybe it was just Tuesday night club. But it was at this specific bar. Local bar. And, so she's like, well, here's the list of specials. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so glad I sat next to you. I have someone to explain this and help me with all this stuff, because I'm like a visitor. So yeah, we ended up becoming friends. And then we went and hung out after that. She's like, look, I'm going to go over and meet up with this guy that I started talking to at one of the hotel bars. She's like, you want to go? And I was like, all right, let's go. So we go. Then I meet this dude. This guy fucking had the knowledge, the sports. I'm like, you should be a fucking sportscaster. Like, we're sitting there talking sports stats, because he shows up in like this fully decked out Philadelphia Phillies outfit. He's got the hat and the Letterman's jacket, right? And I'm like, wait a second, where are you from? I'm like, you ain't from Philadelphia? I'm like, and you've got all that gear on? I'm like, he's like, I've always been a Phillies fan. Then he starts sitting there talking about how he knows all these stats, right? So I start quizzing him on them. And he is rattling off year for year, player for player, when they won these awards. And I'm like, whoa, wait a second. I got to look that up. I look it up. Fucking spot on. He's like a savant when it comes to like sports stats. And I'm like, what the fuck? They need to fire some of the motherfuckers on the network and hire you.
I had a similar experience in L.A. I went to go see Lincoln Park a few months ago. And on the way back to the hotel, we were Ubering back, and my nephew wanted to stop to eat. I was like, I just want to go back to the hotel. I'm old. Get some sleep.
Right.
But now he wanted to go out to eat. So the only place we found open there was this bar that was maybe a few blocks from the hotel, and we go in there, and it was like you were saying. And this is conditioned into your head. You walk in and it's just like, it's all black people. And to me it felt like, not really the place for me. Not like I'm a racist or anything like that, but I was just like, all right.
But you feel like you're invading their good time.
Yeah, but...
You're like, the last thing they want here is this bitch.
But it was the only place open. And like, all right, he wants to get something to eat, fine. And we sat down. And it was somebody's birthday, and it was this whole party, and the crowd was just awesome. It was karaoke night, and everybody's like singing along. The people next to us were having a birthday party, and they're like, "Come on, baby, get up and dance!"
Did you karaoke?
No, I didn't karaoke.
What?
No, because I don't think they had Metallica or Bob Dylan. That's all I can karaoke.
They might have had Bob Dylan. Bob Dylan wrote that song about the hurricane. You could have sung the hurricane, but left out one word because that's the way.
Yeah, but I was like, wow. But that even taught me, who very forward thinker, that I was like, wow. My initial gut reaction when I walked in here was totally different. Everyone in this bar is cool, and we ended up staying for longer than what I really wanted to, but we had a good time.
Then it was all worth it.
Yeah.
Then you can't.
I did wake up the next day going, you're not 21 anymore.
Right.
It's my nephew's fault though, because we were doing Jaeger bombs before the show.
But that is proof right there that people need to just put aside everything and just talk to each other like you're humans.
Right.
Because you're gonna like people, Yeah. You're going to fucking like them.
I mean, yeah, because we all really are connected as people.
I know. My friend Brittany that I'd met, she's like, I'm going to buy your drink, She's like, buy me a drink. And then we were talking a little bit later, and it was a bunch of people's birthdays there, right? And then she's like sitting there, blah, 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 we got talking. And then she's like, yeah, my birthday is not the next day, but the day after. And I'm like, I should be buying you a drink then. You should not be buying. I'm like, how nice of a person you are. You don't fucking know me at all. And you're offering to buy, I should be buying you your drink. Not the other. I'm like, so now we have to have another drink, and now your drink is on me, and we kept drinking.
Yeah. I mean, so we do have to thank Aaron Rodgers for, I don't know, just kind of opening our eyes a little bit. I still kind of disagreed with him about the whole COVID thing, but he
could have just told the truth.
Hearing him explain it, I get his point of view.
Hearing him explain it, I was like, you should have just told the truth and said you didn't want to get it. I mean, if he would have came out by that time they were doing it, though, because they had already made statements like, if you're healthy, you're probably okay. He should have just said, look, I'm not going to get the vaccine. And if him and other football players wanted to say, look, we're not going to get the vaccine, and they started some sort of protest that way, fine. We live in America. Good. You're supposed to be allowed to protest and protest it. And then fine, don't have games because you refuse. If your beliefs are that strongly held, but don't sit there and lie and say that you did.
He didn't lie, though. He didn't lie because he said he was inoculated. He didn't say he was vaccinated. He should have explained that better.
That's a chicken shit cop-out, though. And he knows it, and you know it, and I know it. What I'm saying is he should have been honest about it and just said, I have no desire to get the COVID vaccine because it already came out that this was a new vaccine, unlike any of its kind. Fine. If you want to do that, if you want to go the scientific route, Shit, I've even opened my mind up since then. I'm like, you know what? Fine. Yeah, you want to hijack the abortion thing? You do it. Your body, your choice. Fine. But you better fucking support that when it actually comes to that real issue at hand, which is the issue of abortion. You know?
Right.
Because I'm all for bodily autonomy. I was fine with any of them saying, I do not want to, my whatever my headspace is, whatever my beliefs are, religious or otherwise, whatever my, fuck all that even, whatever my headspace is, if their headspace is sitting there telling them that they don't want to get this done, then I was like, fine, if they feel that strongly about it. And I was like, you know what? I gotta thank you because you're bumping my space in the line to get it closer to the front because I wanted it. I'm like,
right.
I wanted the vaccine.
I mean, because at first you couldn't get it here.
And it was selfish on my part.
You couldn't get it here.
You couldn't.
But when we heard that they had leftovers, because the teachers weren't all getting it.
When we heard about that.
We were the first ones to jump right on it.
Through a fellow friend and guest who has been on the podcast, Jason Marino, thank you. When he put the post out, hey, if y'all want the vaccine, you can go to the school district and get it. How
From
fucking long?
I was
right?
in line too.
I was there first day.
We probably saw you and didn't even know you at the time. Oh my God. Yes. How long did it take us to get down there? You were a little ways out of town, so it took you longer?
Because I was coming back from Phoenix.
How fucking long did it take me to get down there? What, like 10 fucking minutes? Yeah. And I was like, I am putting my fucking shoes on right now and my ass is going there. Yeah. And I'm like, thank you. I even said thank you. Thank you to all the people who passed on this because I've been fucking wanting this. I've been asking my doctor for this. And my doctor at the time, I won't mention her name, but she was a bitch about it because I go, do you have a lot of people who are refusing to get the vaccine? Because if so, can I be bumped up in the line? And she was like, everyone who's getting the vaccine wants it. No, you can't. You need to wait your turn. Was like a real asshole about it. So of course I fucking slid in on that deal.
Yeah. I hate needles. I hate shots. I was never so happy to get a shot in my life.
Fucking hook me up.
Here's my arm. Put that microchip in there. I don't care.
Right? Like, yeah. But, I mean, I still respected the people. I'm like, you know what? I get it. You don't want to get it. You don't want to get it? And I was at that point where I'm like, I'm sick and tired of listening to them bitch about the mask and bitch about this. And you're going to rail on a fucking man who has been a scientist, medical doctor, all of his career, talked about Dr. Fauci. And you are going to throw him under the bus? Fuck you, people. I don't care. If you don't want it, go fuck I don't fucking care then. I don't care either. I'm doing the same thing that you're doing. We're in agreement here. I don't give a fuck. Okay? Yeah. I want it for myself. You don't want it? I'll take yours. I'll take 2 today. Yeah. This is mine, and this is my friend that didn't want it.
I do remember, though, it felt like Mike Tyson had punched you in the arm the next day. It's like, ow, what the fuck?
Yeah, so, like your arm's just hanging there. Like, oh.
I'm like, that's a good pain, though. That's a good pain.
No, we can't do the podcast today. My arm doesn't work.
I can't lift the mic.
I probably don't need that for anything, but I am down for the count.
Although we do have to thank COVID, and our listeners have to thank COVID, because from COVID, you got this podcast.
This started. Yay.
If it wasn't for those Donnie dollars.
Yay. Or the people, or a couple of haters that are like, oh, fuck you even more, COVID. They're on the other side anyways.
Little do they know that I helped extend the mask mandate. We can say that now.
Right?
But yeah, to Aaron Rodgers and, hey, a newfound understanding of, the way he thinks. I felt bad. I felt bad for him at the time because I was in total agreement with him. Like his parents were just like overly religious, like crazy religious, and he was just like, I'm just not into that.
Oh, he talks about how he came from a super conservative religious background, and then he goes to a school like Berkeley, which is like the complete polar opposite.
And
I wonder if he got taught, if he went to Berkeley, did he get to have, oh my God, I've got his face in my mind and I can't, the little guy, the Secretary of Labor under Bill Clinton, Robert Reich. Oh. Did he get to have Robert Reich as a teacher? That would be my one reason for wanting to go to Berkeley.
Yeah. And then, what led him to be so competitive as Brett Favre's backup was because he was pissed that his favorite team, the 49ers, didn't draft him.
My team.
He could have been.
Hey, you know what? If we would, could you imagine, like,
if you went from Steve Young to fucking Aaron Rodgers?
If we went, Steve Young to Aaron Rodgers right away, like the 49ers, they actually, if they had the choice to get him and they passed on that, they did make a poor decision because they could have had that 6th Super Bowl, right?
I think they chose they chose Alex Smith over him or something like that.
Right. And that turned out to be not that great. Yeah. So, no disrespect to Alex Smith, but I did not like him when I was like, where did they get this guy from?
But hey, at least you got Colin Kaepernick after that.
I did. I actually did like Colin Kaepernick way better than I liked Alex Smith. Yeah. But, I mean, could you imagine, so if they would have taken Aaron Rodgers over... Or another one who really wanted to go to San Francisco, because always had been a 49ers fan, was none other than the GOAT, Tom Brady.
You could have...
You passed up... So I'm starting to think, hey, 49ers, owners, if you're listening, you know how you guys always like to blame the coaches? Like you fucking did it to Jim Harbaugh. You sayonara'd him. Maybe it's y'all who don't make the greatest decisions when you're doing the drafts. Yeah. Just saying, you need to take a step back and reevaluate. Maybe do an ayahuasca ceremony, and it will clear your head, and you'll have the vision.
Right, because the owners could do that because they don't need to have that competitive edge.
Right?
Could you imagine Tom Brady doing the ayahuasca ceremony? Like, let's go!
Can you? Yeah, but could you imagine in your mind a mellow Tom Brady?
No.
Never. Like what?
No, I mean because that's
could
what,
you
that's
imagine
what made
him getting off of his thing of not eating ice cream made out of avocados? He's actually eating real ice cream. He is very disciplined, like I don't think he could do that. I don't think he'd be able to.
That's why he's a GOAT.
Takes a lot to be a GOAT.
7 Super Bowls.
I know.
Okay.
And 49ers, you could have had 49ers probably could have broken the record and been at like 8 or 9 Super Bowls by now if they would have made better decisions when they picked.
They got Brock Purdy,
I do like Brock Purdy. So they could be at 10th or 11th Super Bowl by now. I don't know.
Yeah. See, I mean, that's what we need to do on this podcast. More self-help, and now we're into sports talk.
Right?
Who you got? Rams or Vikings?
Shit. Okay. Who I'd want to win? I would want the Vikings to win. Who do I think will win? I'm gonna say the Rams.
See, I'm rooting for the Rams.
You're rooting for them?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, because of you're doing the sentimental thing. Well, you're nicer than me, though. I'm bad cop.
Well, I'm going the easiest route because I want the Bills versus the Lions in the Super Bowl. So I'm trying to get the good teams I want eliminated, so the Bills have an easier path.
I kind of want to see. I definitely want to see the Lions in the Super Bowl, but I would like. Who are my other team options for them to play? Because I want the Lions to actually win the Super Bowl.
So you would have the Steelers, the Ravens, the Bills, Broncos, Chargers, or Texans.
Oh fuck. Okay.
You have the Chiefs.
Wait a second.
We don't want the Chiefs again.
No, but would the Chiefs be? The Chiefs wouldn't be playing the Lions in the Super Bowl,
if it got to
right?
the Super Bowl, it could be the Lions versus
Oh,
the Chiefs.
it would be the Lions are. I always get confused about the conference championships. The conferences.
I wouldn't mind seeing the Lions beat the Chiefs in the Super Bowl.
Oh, I would love that. And don't get me wrong, I am all on board for Tay-Tay to marry Travis Kelce. I still remember I predicted that right when they started dating, and I want to see it happen. But I would, if it comes down to the Chiefs or the Lions, I want the Lions to win the fucking Super Bowl. Number one, they've never won. Number two, I like that coach. Number three, I'll get to see Eminem at the Super Bowl. I get to see him up in the box seats.
Oh yeah, we could like Eminem and Taylor Swift throwing stuff at each other.
Eminem's on my list.
Eminem comes up with a diss track for Taylor Swift like the day before the Super Bowl.
Eminem's on my list. He's always been on my list. I told my friend, so she lives in Michigan, and she was going back to Michigan, and she was thinking about getting on Tinder, and I'm like, you need to get on Tinder and go in the Detroit area, because guess what? I read an article where Eminem is on Tinder. So when I read that article, I was always telling myself, note to self, when in the Detroit area, make sure you got that Tinder up open.
You know how many DMs you must have?
1 million.
Yeah.
I have 0 chance, but, a girl can dream.
Yeah. All right. So we're going off the rails a little bit here. On our journey to self-help and discovery.
A period of enlightenment. Well, it's weird. After I watched the Aaron Rodgers thing, how after you watch one thing on Netflix that it's just you go down the rabbit hole. So yeah, I watched a thing on enlightenment. And I went down a rabbit hole. I'm like, okay, I got to do this journey to self-discovery. Bought a book about getting over your codependency, which is a real kick to the crotch. It's but it needs to be done. I feel like all of this will be good in the long run. I don't know, personal discovery, journey stuff.
Growth.
I feel, growth.
Getting over trauma.
I've always done this through I think that's what broken people do. They're always on a constant journey, It's sometimes it's embarrassing to admit, you feel like a newborn deer on shaky legs, but it'll all work out.
Yeah.
Those deers get strong, and then they run in the wilderness and try to not get shot, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's
what it's about.
It's like me. I had 20 years of the Patriots and Tom Brady to mask my personal trauma.
Now you have nothing.
Yeah. now it's void, and I have to. And
you have to resort to watching Aaron Rodgers documentaries.
Aaron Rodgers documentaries, and then I'll watch old cartoons, and then I'll get into watching those husky videos on Facebook where they're talking. The huskies talking back, sassing.
I've got an idea then for you've got far more trauma. I mean, 20 years of goodness, and now you just left in the dust. Just fucking nothing but... You have a great girlfriend. You have that. She has a brother that's a shaman. We should do this test on the podcast about you doing your spiritual journey.
Yeah, but I have enough weird shit that comes out of my head. Ask her.
I know, but I have to
You think
wait.
we off-road on this podcast? You should hear our conversations.
I have to wait, though.
here's
I
the
would
thing,
be
though.
the guinea pig.
When he tells me this stuff and he tells me it's weird, I'm like, what's weird about that? It's like, oh yeah, my whole, I have my own traumas that I've lived through, and he's like, I sounds so weird and everything. It's like, none of it sounds crazy at all to me.
I'm going to totally make a joke. She's like, what's weird to me? I literally wrote a book about this. It's called Weird Kingman.
And that's just the tip of the ice. That book is just
I am a fucking expert on weird.
And at least over the last couple months,
bring me the weird.
my Donald Trump impression's gotten a little bit better.
It has.
She's enhanced it.
Yeah.
Enhanced it. Well, you know what? I vote for y'all's relationship, even over Tay-Tay and Travis.
All right. The Kingman Power couple.
Right.
Best-selling author and most listened to liberal podcast in Kingman.
Most listened to, you have to put, like, that little triangle thingy,
No.
liberal podcast, because there's got to be tons of conservative podcasters out there that far more listen to than us.
I mean, that's also like saying you're like the highest rated show on Newsmax.
Right?
It's not that high up there.
Right?
But no, this podcast has been therapy over the last almost 5 years.
I love this podcast.
Yeah. Even if nobody else does.
Fuck everybody else. Like, this podcast versus everybody else. Reality Redemption versus everybody else.
The Daily Show had...
That's why I'm rooting for Detroit. Detroit made famous the shirts and the hats that said Detroit versus everybody else. Because Detroit is a hard city.
Yeah, and most podcasts...
Wait, what's happened to that
Most
city?
podcasts don't last 20 episodes. And we've got 10 times that.
At least 10 times and counting.
Doing good. Oh, and we're getting paid weekly now. It's 40 cents. Another 40 cents this morning.
I thought we got up to $1.43.
We did. That was last week. This week was another 40 cents. I'm taking that 40 cents. I'm going to go put it in the slot machines in Laughlin.
Moving on up to the east side.
All right.
And I've got my $20 in book sales for the week.
Yeah.
Take with me.
Hell yeah.
Selling all of it.
I hope you guys win.
All right. On that note, we'll wrap this up. Thank you for listening. And, we'll try to do more self-help, self-awareness stuff in the future.
I hope that we have... We should probably strive to, at least once a month podcast be about nothing but self-awareness, self-care, self-growth, it sounds selfish. However, you kind of have to take care of yourself in order to be good for other people, right?
Right.
So.
And much like Aaron Rodgers, he's playing for himself. And we do this podcast for ourselves. And all of you out there listening are just along for the ride.
But we invite you to come on.
Yeah.
And if I want to open arms, if anyone out there has a great idea to do a show and wants to come on and actually talk to us,
just send us a text message.
Do it.
Send us text. It says it right before our podcast.
Right.
Send us a text message.
We like talking to everyone.
Our new regular listener that's in Ireland, please text message us. We would love to talk to you about how you feel about what's going on over here.
We would love to come visit you and tour the Guinness factory with you and become new best friends with you.
I think both of us have a little Irish blood in us, right?
Oh, I've got more than a little.
Oh, so we could become citizens over there.
It's 52.4 according to 23andMe. 52.4% British Irish.
All right.
Is what I got.
All right, let's fucking take this show on the road to fucking Ireland.
Right?
We'll get fucking Bono on.
Oh, Could you imagine? I probably couldn't even fucking talk. I'd be like,
we just have some Guinness with him, like the David Letterman special. What's the one that thing that interview he did with David Letterman, where they're at the fucking Irish pub.
I never saw that.
No, it's on Disney.
Or I'd be like, I'll just be like Edge and just have people put feet all over my face and be numb during this interview while you just talk.
It's Bono. You don't even have to say anything. You just turn the mic on, ask him one question, just let him go.
Probably the thing I would tell Bono, I'd be like, Bono, thank you for your generous donation to the National Civil Rights Museum. You learned that at the end, the museum I was talking about before we went on the air in Memphis. Yeah. He is a huge donor to that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, thank you for doing that.
Medal of Freedom winning artist, Bono. Thank you for President Biden for nominating him for that.
Right? Yeah.
All right. So, yeah. Our listener in Ireland, maybe it's Bono. That'd be
Don't get my hopes up.
If like Bono's like his agent's probably like,
right.
Bono's like telling his agent to fucking book us on this podcast. So just send us a text. We'd love to have you on.
It's as easy as that. Just send us a text.
Yeah. We'll talk all about, his work with AIDS and everything else that he does.
Oh my God, there's so much to talk about. Where would you even start with somebody like him? What topic do you even start with?
I would ask him, I'm like, who designs your stage? Because his show at the Spear with you two was the most mind-blowing experience I've ever seen. I felt like I was on ayahuasca seeing that show. It was trippy.
Oh, wow. I haven't been to the Sphere yet.
It's amazing. We should go because they're doing they do a concert film by U2 and it's like seeing the concert. The same visuals and stuff like that. But yeah, it's at the Spear.
I think I want to go though. I think I want to go and actually see a band there. Like, I don't know. Somebody cool, like a legend.
I don't know. The Eagles are there now.
Oh, I was going to say, would they be able to get CCR back together? Or is that not? No. Did too many of them die? Oh, they all hate each other.
They hate each other.
Oh, yeah. But why? Your music. Do you know how important Fortunate Son is nowadays? Like, come on, guys, get over it.
Huh. Let's get Aaron Rodgers to do a speaking engagement there. And then fucking, like the big spear, they can fucking flash all the fucking thoughts in his head up there.
That would be kind of cool.
There we go. All right. On that note, we will shut this off. And we will be back soon. I think you're off. I think you're away next weekend, though, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Gotta go visit Moms.
All right. So we will talk to you soon.
Bye, y'all. Love you.